I just wanted to do a quick video on the challenges of hypnobirthing because I had somebody contact me earlier this week who is considering doing hypnobirthing and is fully aware of all the positives that everybody states about it, but was wondering, what are the, potential challenges that you might face when doing hypnobirthing. And it was a good question because there can be some challenges with hypnobirthing. So firstly, I think even just becoming engaged in it, there can be a bit of a misunderstanding about what hypnobirthing is. And often many people view it as this kind of bit weird, bit out there, hippie type technique that's just a bit airy-fairy, a bit fluffy around the edges and won't possibly help. And that can be both in their own mindset, or it could be what other people are telling them about hypnobirthing. So initially, even becoming engaged with hypnobirthing might be a challenge. What I want you to know, though, is that the Hypnobirthing Australia programme that I and many other practitioners around Australia are delivering is all evidence-based information, okay? So as soon as you realise that, as soon as partners perhaps see that or realise it during courses as well, it very quickly kind of changes that mindset of it being from a technique that can be dismissed because people don't think there's any truth in it, to one then all of a sudden of kind of going, actually, there is evidence behind these techniques of what we're doing and why we're doing them. But another challenge is that for some people, they might feel like when they're hypnobirthing, they're going to be out of control, that something else is going to take over their mindset and they're not going to be present at birth. Not true at all. All hypnosis, the hypnosis techniques that we use are self-hypnosis. So we use hypnosis because it's a way of going kind of below the conscious mind into the subconscious and changing the way that you think about birth. So replacing any unhelpful fears and anxieties and worries and thoughts in relation to birth, and replacing them with much more confident, empowering, trusting thoughts in relation to how you can birth your baby. And when we're in that positive mindset, it's really good then for allowing the body to relax and let go in order to open up and meet your baby. So you're not going to be out of control. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. There may, however, be some times where on the course and after the course, you might find yourself being presented with some techniques that might be out of your comfort zone initially. There might be some that are very much aligned with things that you already do already. So we talk about positive affirmations, which are really just little phrases or quotes or mantras, which, like I just mentioned, are all about changing the way you think. And you might already have little mantras for your life in general, and you might find using them very easy. However, we might then have some techniques that you're not so familiar with, that you need to digest a little bit more and do a bit more research of your own and a bit more practice after the course, and that might stretch you a little bit out of your comfort zone. But that's okay, because all the techniques that we give you, I like to tell my clients, they're a toolkit, not a checklist. So they're there, and the more familiar you are with all of the techniques that we give you, then the bigger your toolkit on the day that your baby's born. But you don't have to use absolutely everything that's there. You use what's right for you in that moment when your baby's being born. But it might stretch you a little bit in terms of doing some things that initially might just put you out of your comfort zone. Another challenge is time to practice. So when people leave my courses, they go away after, the 2 days, the 12 hours worth of content, feeling good about their birth. Often there's been a real shift in how they've been thinking about their labours and births from when they started the course to the end of it. But that's when the real work starts too. It's about taking everything that we've given you during the course and going away and practicing it on a daily basis, just doing little bits here and there, so it becomes very habitual. And then on the day of your baby's birth, your mindset and the techniques and the way your partner's going to support you all becomes really automatic, and we're not having to think about these things because we've done our practice in the lead up to it. So you do need to find the time to do these things in the lead up to birth. Sometimes as well, people ask the question of, but can I fail? What if it doesn't work for me? And again, with the Hypnobirthing Australia programme, we want every woman to know that however your baby's born, we want it to be the most empowering, beautiful experience that it can possibly be. So if you think of birth on a spectrum, where at one end you have the No intervention, no drug, physiological birth. And at the other end of the spectrum, we've got caesarean births, okay? And there can be a whole host of different things that may or may not happen along that spectrum. Once you've done your course, you cannot fail at giving birth. Every woman does whatever they can with the circumstances they get given, the knowledge that they have, the tools and the techniques that they have available to them. And every woman does the absolute best that they can possibly do on the day that their baby's born. And all our techniques are designed to help you have the best birth possible with the circumstances you get given, so that wherever your baby's birth falls on that spectrum, it's about making it the best experience that it can possibly be. So no, you cannot fail at hypnobirthing. Okay, every birth is different, every birth is unique, and it's really important to give every baby and every birth the time and attention that it deserves in terms of preparing for it, because there is so much that you can do in terms of leading up to birth, and what you and your birth partner, if you have one attending with you, can do so that on the day of your baby's birth it goes as smoothly as possible. So if you're looking for any more resources or people to follow or other things to kind of have a look at in relation to hypnobirthing, obviously I would say follow Hypnobirthing Australia on social media, Facebook, website, Instagram, because we're always sharing up-to-date research and articles, positive birth stories, so you can see other people's experiences of what they've had happen to them. Evidence-based birth is a wonderful resource. I often direct my clients there so that they know that the information and the research that they're doing is all evidence-based, so that they can use that and know they can make the decisions that feels right for them and their body and their baby and their birth, based on evidence, and so they can make informed decisions. You might also want to follow other influential and very knowledgeable people on social media, such as Hannah Darlan, Sarah Wickham, Rachel Reed on midwife thinking, or if you want to look at some books, look at Gentle Birth, Gentle Mothering by Sarah Buckley, Ina May Gaskin as a host of different books that you might want to check out, or Millie Hill, the Positive Birth book. There's so much out there. So please know that although there might be challenges sometimes in relation to hypnobirthing and how to do it and how to incorporate it and so on, there's so many more advantages to doing it, and it really is worth it. I used it with all three of my babies. Those were the three most amazing days of my life. I would happily give birth again. I think it's amazing, and I would love every woman to come out of birth feeling the same. So if you were to do a Hypnobirthing Australia program with us, I very much feel that is always going to be helping you to increase the chances of making that possible. And if you have any other questions, feel free to send me a message or check out some of those other resources that I mentioned, and make a decision that feels right for you as to whether or not you'd like to use this approach in the lead up to your baby's birth.